All right, welcome back to another edition of Who You Got. I'm Greg, he's Jimmy. If it's your first time joining us and you like what you hear, do us a favor, hit that follow subscribe button for us. If you're joining us again, we appreciate you coming back for another episode. And remember, as it says on the bottom there, please follow us on X and Instagram at Whoyagot33. And if you're watching this on a YouTube channel, please subscribe after you watch for us. All right, and then also, if you are a fantasy football fan, great news. We just released a great fantasy football special over on the KC Sports Authority YouTube channel. It's got some great content there and some excellent tips for your draft. And with that, the other guy who gives out excellent tips is my co-host Jimmy on the UFC. Jimmy, good weekend for the UFC. Who do you got?
Yeah, we've got a fight night coming, and there's actually some pretty good action for a free card, so I'm excited just as a fan to watch it. But I think there's a couple good value bets, and maybe I'm just reaching here, but the main event is Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Hernandez, and Brian, let me check it now because it keeps moving around. But you can get Dolidze a pretty sizable dog. Right now he's plus 260, and to me that line's just too much. Now he's 6 years older than Anthony Hernandez. Anthony Hernandez on a 7-fight win streak should theoretically win this fight. But Dolidze he's on a nice roll himself. He's won his last 3. We bet him to beat Marvin Vettori, which he did. He knocked out Kevin Holland, which is no small feat. Their only common opponent, I believe, is Kevin Holland, who knocked out Hernandez. That was his last loss. So it's not that I think Anthony Hernandez shouldn't win this fight. He probably should, but I don't understand why the line's that lopsided. So to me, the value is on Roman Dolidze. So I like that. Again, that Vettori fight was an avenge of a loss that he had to Vettori. He lost a majority decision to Imanov. So, that was a very well-contested fight, and that was a 5-rounder. The guy can go the distance. He's tough as nails. So, yeah, I think, at plus 260, I'm not saying make a big play. Maybe throw a half a unit on it and see what happens.
I like it.
Yeah.
And again, when Jimmy gives out these good dogs, we only got to usually hit one of them, and we're going to make a profit.
Yeah, and the other one, this is much more of a wild card here. But Steve Erceg is fighting Ode Osborne. Now, Erceg fought for the belt. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. He lost to Pantoja when he fought for the title. Lost to Pantoja. Then he lost to Kari France, who just lost a title shot. And then he lost to Brandon Moreno, who was the former champ for forever. So the 3 losses were really, really, it was stellar competition. But he still has 3 losses in a row. Ode Osborne, we actually bet against him. I think we had him in a parlay, and that loss. And he was a big dog in that fight. And he upset, who did he fight? Garuli. Yeah, Garuli, who was undefeated at the time, 10-0. So the thing with Osborne is he's got all the talent. He just doesn't always show up, but he can knock somebody out at any point, and that's a big deal for a 125-pound fighter. They don't all possess knockout power, and he does. So same thing. Right now, Ode Osborne is plus 425. So would I make a big play on him? Absolutely not. But again, a half a unit, maybe if you're feeling good or you're having a good day and you want to put 1 unit on each of these guys, I think one of them gets it home. I could be completely wrong. That's why I wouldn't go big, but I really think the value is in those 2 plays. So I'm going to play both on Saturday night. There's some really good fights otherwise. Andre Touchy-Feely's fighting, which is one of the better nicknames of all time. He's a slight dog against Christian Rodriguez. I like Rodriguez in that fight, but I'm not going to lay the 230 because like we've talked about, I don't like going to that point. I like laying up to maybe 160 on a UFC fight if I really feel good about it, but that's just going a little far. And then there's some other dogs down the board that, again, I don't really love. But it is going to be a good fight night. I'm going to take those 2 dogs. If you want a favorite to bet, I think Lucindo at 185 minus 185 probably gets it done. I don't think I take Angela Hill at the plus 154. But again, you got to be willing to lay it. So I'm going to go with a couple dogs, half a unit, and hope we get lucky and watch a good night of fights for free.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. All right, we'll post those on X tomorrow, right, Jimmy?
Yes, we will.
All right. Sweet. All right. So over to a sport that I'm a little bit more passionate about probably than Jimmy, and that's golf. It's becoming a thing now. We are weeks away, and the Ryder Cup standings are out. People are positioning. People are politicking to try to get on this team. But it's becoming a story. What is Keegan going to do? Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Who's he going to pick? The top 6 qualify automatically, which are Scotty, Xander, JJ Spawn, Russell Henley, DeChambeau, and Harris English right now, which I believe these aren't locked in until two more tournaments. So JT could jump him in the standings. JT 7th, Morikawa 8, Griffin 9, Keegan 10, Maverick McNeely is 11, Brian Harmon is 12. That's the top 12. So 6 automatically qualify, and then Keegan gets 6 picks. He's got to pick himself, Jimmy. We said this on a previous episode. But he's fallen back to 10th. He was as high as, I think, 7th at one point. He was definitely 8th. He's got to play. He's got to play.
Yeah, I'd like to see him play. I'm getting excited about it. I mean, how far are we? It's 6 weeks out? Is that where we are right now?
Last weekend in September.
Okay, so we're 7 weeks out. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Yes, I do. I agree. I'd like to see him pick himself, play in the tournament, see what he can do. I don't know the history as well as you do. Does the captain typically pick themselves?
No, he would be the first playing captain since Arnold Palmer.
Do it. I like it even better.
Yep, me too. I think, or is it Jack Nicklaus? It was one of the two, but he'll be the first playing captain in a long, long time. Keegan's got to play. You got to play, Keegan. You got to play, and you got to listen to the show. Your big miss there for not listening.
Yeah, well, that's your
biggest
thing you got to do next.
And play it in the locker room. They'll all love it. But Jordan Spieth is the funny one, and you know me, I'm a big Jordan Spieth guy. It sucks that he's had a down year, but he's trying to tell him, Keegan, you can't play. It'll be way too much responsibility to open up another slot and hope that he gets picked. But Jordan's sitting at like 27th or 28th in these standings. It would be a stretch, I think, to put him on the team right now. I think the top 12 is pretty solid. The only two I'd be a little weary about is Maverick McNeely, Brian Harmon. I think he might take a shot here and put Chris Goddard up and down on the team the way he's been closing out the season.
That would be fantastic. Get a local guy in it.
Yeah, I think he's going to wind up getting a pick, even though he's 20th in the standings. You would think
he probably knows that course, right? Wouldn't you think he's played that course of going to college around here?
Yeah, and that's the other reason why Keegan's got to go. He knows the course. Yeah. And I think Chris Goddard has gotta be on his team.
Be pretty good.
It's going to be interesting because Patrick Cantlay's sitting right there. He's not had his best season of all time, but he's a solid player and a staple on these teams. I wonder if he'll get on. It's going to be interesting to see what Keegan does here. So I'm looking forward to it. Love that Bryson managed to get into the top 5 so he doesn't even have to worry because he doesn't qualify for a lot of points playing on the Live Tour, but not having him on the team would suck. And with that said, I don't know if you saw the story, Jimmy, but there is a rumor out there that Bryson, in his first match on the first tee, is going to do the Happy Gilmore.
No way.
I swear to God, you can look it up. It's out. Everyone is out there. There's a shot of him doing it on a simulator, I believe. And I guess there's rumblings that he might try this on T1 at Bethpage.
If he
knocks it down the middle, is that just not the most epic thing of all time?
It would be. Yeah. I wonder if he'd really get some more torque behind it. And how far Bryson could then hit the ball.
It would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be awesome.
I don't know if you saw this. So keeping it with Bryson for a minute, he does that. Can we break 50 from the red tees, win the best ball and all that? His YouTube. Yeah. Okay. Did you see what Tommy Fleetwood's doing?
No.
Okay. He is going to do a YouTube, and he is going to try to break 100 left-handed. What's more intriguing to you? Watching Tommy play from the other side or Bryson with celebrities from the red tees trying to break 50? I think Fleetwood's is going to be funnier to watch because he's going to look like us.
Yeah, if he could, it would be. I think it'd be more impressive if he could break. You would think you could learn how to putt the other way, but everything else seems like it would be impossible to be ambidextrous.
Right.
So if he could break 100 playing lefty, I think it would almost be more impressive than Bryson. Because when Bryson plays the reds, there's nothing he can't green.
Right.
I guess a par 5, but he's there in a short 2.
he's still driving most of them.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, I'd love to see a professional try to play lefty.
Now, I'm assuming he's going to practice a little bit before he hits record on YouTube, but I can't wait to see how he drives the ball lefty.
Yeah, I can't even. Yeah, I can't figure it out.
I'm rooting for you, Tommy. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, everybody when we were kids that wanted to be a switch hitter, like that was, and it was the funniest thing watching every right-handed batter try to hit left-handed, and it totally not working, but they'd get up to the plate.
For most, it was just funny to watch too. But I'm rooting for you, Tommy. You broke my heart at the Travelers, but we'll still hope you break 100. All right. Did you see one other big golf news that came out I thought was kind of cool? I hope they do this on the PGA Tour, but I hope they do it for more money because the DP Tour, I don't know if 10,000 is cool enough. I think 100,000 would be cool, but here's what they're doing. DP World Tour now. So they're going to start with event 1. Okay, Jimmy? If you break the course record, you get a $10,000 bonus. Okay. Any round. Okay? There's some caveats that go with it, but if you break a course record, you're the first to do it, you get 10 grand. If nobody breaks it, it's going to roll over every tournament. So I think that's a cool incentive. I think it would be fun if the PGA Tour did it, but did it for, 100 grand. And then you get to 30 events in and we're talking $3 million if you break the course record.
Yeah, it would have to be more, right? 10 grand. What do they give? Not getting up for that. But no, it's a cool idea. I like it a lot. And I like it how it's for any round. There's no stipulation on it. But yeah, make it 100 grand and then do it. Yeah.
I think that would be fun because, again, if that rolls over 20, 30 times, which it will sometimes, that'll be fun to watch people if they hit for $3 million.
Yeah, look, I think, again, the professionals all put up their best effort. I don't think they take a round off. If you go into make the cut, but you get your ass kicked in the third round in the last day of the tournament, you're 15 strokes back. Hey, you still got some money you can play for if you can really put one together, right? Excitement.
That's a great point. Good incentive there.
Yeah.
All right. We missed it. I meant to bring this up in our last podcast, and it completely slipped my mind. Did you see that Red Zone has been sold?
ESPN bought it.
ESPN and Disney are now the new owners. Your feelings on this as a Red Zone guy like me?
Well, I mean, I didn't see the details. My assumption is that if you have ESPN Plus, it's either included or inexpensive for an extra fee. But I don't know.
It's going to be very interesting to see what they do. The projection is $29 more a month, which would be tripling the price I pay right now.
Would it be in? Because like I have it just included. I'm one of the last people on earth with cable, which I need to change. But would it be included with the cable plan still?
I pay $10 for that with Hulu right now.
Okay.
It's $10 to add on the sports package, and Red Zone's part of it. But they're saying with this, it could be $29 a month now on ESPN. Now, I don't know, to your point, if you have Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and all that, if you're going to get a price break, and maybe this is a way to get you to sign up for ESPN Plus and or Disney Plus. I'm sure they're really going to push Disney Plus down everyone's throat. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm going to be annoyed if I have to pay $30 a month for Red Zone next year, because this is the problem. Once you get used to Red Zone, you're never going back.
It would be impossible to go back. Even with YouTube TV and the ticket, like I'm like, nah, I'm good with the Red Zone. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like I'll watch the Red Zone and the local games most of the time, especially from a value perspective. I think that NFL has missed the boat on just pay-per-view games. Like I would just pay probably $20 to get the Browns game on locally and stream that. What days that I could do it. I'd have two TVs. I'd have Red Zone on one and the Browns on another. So, but the idea of spending the hundreds of dollars for the Red Zone or for the Sunday ticket when I really just want Red Zone in the Browns games, like I can't justify it, right?
Right.
Especially because I know, like I said, by week 6 when I'm 1-5, now I'm basically watching the Red Zone, and if the Browns are on TV anyway, so I think that's where they missed the boat. They should do on demand to specific games. But yeah, I can't not have the Red Zone in my life. What are we talking about?
I know, that's the problem, and I'm going to wind up, and I think that's what ESPN and Disney knows, because Disney knows just how to print. Let's not call it ESPN. It's Disney who owns everything. Disney just knows how to print money, and I'm sure they did some research and figured out, hey, we can do a couple things here. We can boost subscriptions at Disney Plus, or we can just get them to buy this outright through something. And they're one way or another, they're going to be spending money with Disney. So at least it doesn't start for another year. So we got one more year this way, and we'll see what happens. I wonder if Scott Hansen's going to make the cut, or this is his last season.
Oh, I hope he's still he's great. Yeah, he's Scott Hansen, man. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to look up at this on real time, but I see the $29.99 you mentioned. It's becoming a lot more attractive when ESPN can offer an expanded package of live NFL games, option to add on, and the option to add on Red Zone, because they bought the NFL Network, right?
Yeah, I think they got it an all-encompassing deal here.
Yeah, so that's what's going to be very, very interesting. So I guess we'll find out. But if the first Sunday of the football season, Red Zone's not working here, I'll be finding a way to pay for it one way or the other, I'm sure.
2025 we're covered. This will start in 26.
Oh, okay, so we're still good. We got another year to go.
Good for this year, from what I read.
Got it. All right, cool.
All right, and speaking of this year, all right, we went 1-1 last night with the picks we posted. The one we lost was the Bengals. And I wonder if this is just the preview of what's to come, Jimmy. Burrow went out there and just looked freaking awesome. Put up 14 points like it was nothing, and not many Eagles starters played fine. I get it. But the problem is the Bengals starters did. And they looked like we thought they would look on offense, all the starters, and the defense looked exactly how we thought the defense would look. And the defense here, the reason I bring this up is even when the defense is playing their second string, it doesn't matter because the second string is going to play because the first string is going to be getting yelled at on the sideline so many times. The second string is going to be in there.
Yep.
They give up 432 yards in the preseason against an offense that's making vanilla play calls. Are we off to again, I'm not backing off, Mike. I'm not backing off this because I think Joe Burrow will outscore enough teams to still win that division and upset the Ravens. But is this defense going to be historically bad, Jimmy?
It's really tough to tell because it depends on, like you said, how much stock you put in the preseason. And it's funny because there seems to be multiple camps on this. Like either it matters or it absolutely doesn't. I mean, I remember a world where the Browns went 4-0 in the preseason and then didn't win a game all year, right? So I don't know. But because it was their ones, you'd think your defensive schemes would be on. They were playing, like you said, Jalen Hurts was in plain clothes with a headset on the whole game, right? Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably cause for concern. I don't think you hide a lot of your defenses, or at least not as many as your offensive plays, right? And you're playing a vanilla offense. I don't know. You play a vanilla defense is obviously schematic, but it's also effort and talent. And I think that they're like, look, even if Trey Hendrickson comes back, I mean, they're still a bad defense. They just have a great, one of the greatest linemen, whatever. I don't know. Yeah. I was drawing a blank. I'm watching. Sorry, I got the Sports Center on the background too. Yeah. So my point is, he's not going to solve the whole problem. You need him there because you got nothing else, and maybe he saves you a couple of plays a game down the field. But they're going to be in trouble. Take the over on all the Bengals games this year.
Yeah, it's an inch. Well, the casinos are going to. I mean, the sports books are going to catch up real quick. The totals are going to be 92 at one point. I mean, it's going to be crazy. But the debate you bring up is a very valid one. Do you play the starters? Do you not? Some coaches never do, but I think the Bengals decided, hey, we can't stub our toe out of the gate anymore, especially with the defense that we might have and are expecting to have. So we're going to make sure our offense is clicking on all cylinders, snap one, week one. And I think it's smart they're playing their starters. But the other side of your debate is look what happened in the Colts game. Richardson dropped back, and again, we got to count him as kind of playing a starter, right? Even though it could be him, it could be Jones. We don't know where it's going to go. But he got lit up yesterday, came out of the game. So you can see why coaches are tentative going, this doesn't really count, so why am I risking this? Because he's lucky he just dislocated his pinky, because that could have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll go back to your Bengals point first. They had to do this. I mean, Zach Taylor's job has to be somewhat on the line. They cannot get off to a 1-3 start in September again. They and then play catch up the rest of the year. They can't risk losing another great season of Joe Burrow by missing the playoffs. They have to go into the season ready And clearly what they've done the last few years has not worked. And Joe Burrow has had injuries, and he's great, so I can see why they protect him. But you can see it takes him a few games in. Same thing happened with Brady. Brady wouldn't really play the preseason, and they would be off to a 1-2 start, and everybody, is this the end of New England? But it was Brady and Belichick, so they'd always pull it together. And Belichick always had a good defense. Rodgers, even in his MVP years, he'd have 3 interceptions, and 2 of them would be in the first game, and then he'd throw 1 interception over the next 15 at the time, right? Like because there is a pace of play, there is you just can't emulate it in practice. So I think they had to do it. As far as the Colts go, he got completely blindsided. But everything I've heard, the commentary last night, the commentary from all the analysts this morning, every one of them say this was a baseline play that he should have saw coming. He had a running back in the flat. He should have got rid of the ball. When the safety dropped, he knew the safety wasn't coming. He knew anybody would have known where this play was coming from. So Anthony Richardson, it just shows where he is in his development and understanding formations and how to check out of them or how to find the quick read option. So he's kind of hurting himself here. I will tell you, the Colts are going to be god-awful because Daniel Jones went 10 for 21. I don't care if he had a couple nice throws. He had one where he's moving to his left. He threw back across his body. But, I mean, it's Daniel Jones. And he's also injury-prone. So count the Colts as done.
Yeah, he's injury-prone and somehow can get tackled by the grass, which I still think is one of the funniest runs I've ever seen. Where, I mean, he was just could walked into the end zone and he just tripped over his own feet. So the other thing I wrote down here that I had to point out, it made a little bit of a headline, but it caught my attention, and that was: do you think refs in the I don't care pregame, postgame, you want to go over to the quarterback, talk to him a little bit, wish him well. But do you think after a quarterback makes a throw and Jamar Chase goes for a big touchdown, the head ref should go over and congratulate Joe Burrow with a tap on the helmet? Nice throw, Joe. Nice play, Joe. I mean, it's a bad look in my opinion. I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, they're supposed to be not emotionally involved in the game one way or the other. So yeah, no, it's not a great look. I mean, maybe it's preseason and you can let it go, but otherwise, no, it's not the best look I've ever saw.
Yeah, and my question is, like, at one point does the league start stepping in and going, "Hey, refs, like, I'm glad that you like the players and you're talking with them and you're friendly with them, but hey, maybe we don't have that look on TV because you get enough conspiracy theorists out there about the games are fixed and all this other bullshit that's not true. Well, it ain't a good look if the ref is high-fiving Joe after a good throw."
Yeah, I think I would assume that if it happened in the regular season, there'd be some repercussions. Hey, who knows? Maybe somebody says something to him about this. Was it a veteran ref?
Yeah, and it's the same one who got called out for having sidebar conversations with Josh Allen during the wild card game against the Ravens.
Interesting. Yeah,
so,
seems like it could be problematic at some point.
All right, Jimmy, 2 weeks, buddy. 2 weeks away from week 0. And I know we don't really count week 0 for college football, but we're 2 weeks away from meaningful college football games, at least one. That week 1, we got Iowa State and Kansas State across the pond in a division game. Stanford, Hawaii should be fun. So there's a couple games worth noting, and then we get into the real thing in Thursday, the 28th. And then our first full Saturday is that weekend, where we get Saturday, August 30th. We get some big games, and we get the college football season rolling. We will do, if you caught it on YouTube, we will do our picks and six starting in week 1, and we'll do that every week where we put out an episode of our best college picks in 6 minutes or less, and we'll break it up into a couple shorts for YouTube as well, so you can watch it either way. But, Jimmy, let's start with the projected top 20 right out of the gate, the preseason top 25. Anything jump off the page at you? Do you agree with the Buckeyes? Do you think Texas at number 2? Like, how do you judge here the top 5?
Yeah, I don't know if there's I think it's okay. I think Texas, we're really betting. Arch Manning is going to have to live up to all the hype. I mean, he didn't play much football last year, right? He hasn't played a ton of football in his college career. Arch, the grandfather, came out and said he's not leaving after this year, like based on the kind of some of the draft stuff telling you maybe he's got some runway. Peyton and Eli both played 4 years. We've seen recently quarterbacks, the Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, that have more reps under their belt come out and have success, where Caleb Williams, Anthony Richardson have struggled. So I think he's got some runway. I don't think there's a lot of urgency, but it doesn't take away the stress of being the starting quarterback at Texas. So I like it. I'm kind of on a wait and see on if he's really the real deal especially when he's playing a full load. I know based on who they've got, but Brian Kelly, I don't know. Like, is he going to I just feel like he's going to let us down. I know we talked about him last year. It was before we had the show, but we like to bitch about Brian Kelly quite a bit.
Yeah, you can't win an opening game. I mean, it's incredible. But we'll get more into schedules as we break down conferences, but that's kind of our feelings on that. And just so everyone knows what we're looking at, if you want to follow along, we're kind of looking at VSiN's projections, not the coaches poll. And VSiN has LSU projected 5, Ohio State 1, Texas 2, Penn State 3, Georgia 4, LSU 5, Bama 6, Clemson 7, ND 8, Oregon 9, and Michigan 10 to round out their projected top 10. I disagree a lot with Ohio State. I think Penn State's the most talented team in the country. I think Ohio State, because they're coming off the national championship and because they're Ohio State, they're going to get the nod to number 1, just kind of the default, like, hey, they'll be back. Penn State's the most talented team in the country. Franklin gets a bad rap because he seems to never win the big game. But again, everybody, he's not losing to Northwestern. He's losing to Ohio State on the road, to Michigan on the road. He's losing to good teams and usually on the road. Yes, Michigan got him that 1 year at home when Michigan went on to win the national championship. I get it. But he's losing to great teams who wind up usually winning or at least making a run at the national championship. So, yes, well, the allure is Franklin can't win a big game, so Penn State's not going to do anything. I get what you're saying. However, you got to remember, it's not like he's lost a ton of games as a big favorite. He's losing to better teams most of the time. And I think they're the most talented team in the country. I mean, obviously, they got to overcome Abdul Carter not being there. But other than that, this team's locked and loaded, ready to go. Drew Aller's only going to get better.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Drew Aller's going to get better. They've got a couple of running backs that are fantastic. So if the quarterback takes a step up, they could be really solid on offense. Abdul Carter was phenomenal, but again, they still are going to have a solid defense this year. You can lose a singular player, no matter how high level talent, and still keep a whole unit. Growing up watching Michigan, but being in Pennsylvania, that's just the feeling that I've had my whole life. Like, Penn State's always going to be there. They're always going to be good, but they're never going to be great. And you're right. They're always there at the end, and they can't win the big game, and they're losing to better teams. At some point, they've got to get over that hump. If Michigan doesn't win it, as much as they're both Big Ten schools, I root for the Big Ten. If Michigan overall, and then I slide down the scale. Penn State's next, and then Rutgers is somewhere at the bottom of that because they're terrible. But I hope you're right.
Okay, well, I'm a Michigan guy as well as Jimmy for college football. College basketball we'll get into in a later episode, but I'm not a Michigan college basketball guy. But I love Michigan as my football team. Now, I do not agree with Jimmy. If Michigan is out of it, I would rather see the national championship game canceled than watch Ohio State win anything. I do like Penn State, though. I have a little love affair for Penn State on the side, and people probably know I got a little love for LSU and the SEC, too. I seem to always lean that way. I want to see LSU do good. But here, Jimmy, let's talk about our team. I mean, we lost first-round picks in Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant off the defense. However, the defense looks like it's going to be freaking fantastic again.
That's what they're saying.
That's why they're jumping into a projection of a top 10 in a lot of people's preseason rankings. Do you think we'll live up to the hype and make a run at the college football playoff this year after having a little bit of a down year?
I mean, yeah, I think the defense is going to be fine. It all comes down to quarterback play. They have that kid that transferred, and then they got Bryce Underwood that he's supposed to be like, he was the greatest recruit out of wherever he had committed. Where did he commit before Portnoy basically stepped in and got him to Michigan?
I don't remember.
Yeah, he had a decommit from wherever. I mean, so he's young though. I mean, he's he's going to be 18 when the season starts. So I don't know that he's going to get a full load. I think it's really good for their future, assuming that he's happy there. Whatever NIL deals he gets keeps him there, and he doesn't enter the transfer portal. But I don't know, man. Like that's the problem. The Fresno State kid, they transferred there. So I mean, we'll see. But I think I'm not worried about the defense. Are we going to be able to be competitive on the offensive side of the ball? And I think that's going to come down to when will Bryce Underwood be ready to play.
Team right underneath them also intrigues me, and that's the Gators. It looked like finally Billy Napier figured it out at the end of last year. They ended on a 4-game winning streak, which looks like DJ Lagway figured out how to be a dynamic playmaker. Has Billy Napier figured it out? Is this finally going to get him off the hot seat? I mean, is he? Do you think this is a top 11 team?
No, and I hope they're not. When I also, to your other comment, would don't ever want to see Ohio State win. But what made me kind of wrap around Big Ten was when I spent 9 years of my life in Florida, and I was inundated by SEC fans that drove me absolutely nuts, and they were winning. And so at that point, I was like, "Fuck all you!" Like play cold weather football. I'm tired of, I started just backing Big Ten just because I wanted to argue with people in Florida, and it was when Tebow was. It was just a horrific time in my college football for me, right? And then you led into the Alabama days, so on and so forth. But anyway, no, I don't think so, and I hope they're not any good.
Yeah, I think they are going to be much better. I think Billy Napier. I know, sorry, you don't like the Gators, but I think Billy Napier is a good coach. I think he's finally getting his players in there. This will be his 4th year. He did unbelievable things with the Raging Cajuns. That's why he got the job. I think he's a very, very good coach, and I think he'll get it figured out. Wouldn't shock me if this team makes a serious run at the playoffs. Don't know if they'll get over the hump this year, but I think he's going to have a good squad. I don't think he'll wind up losing his job over this. I think he's got things figured out. He's starting to see his players come in. His system's going to start working, and I think Florida will be a top 5 team eventually, and he'll have a good chance to win a national title there. Now, I'll say this, Jimmy, to what you just said. I'm in the school of thought that college football is better when Florida State, Miami, and Florida are all good.
Yeah, I agree with that. The big deal, look, when it's SEC versus Big Ten is when we've got when Michigan, Ohio State are relevant to start, and then you've got like a Penn State or a Wisconsin or someone else that's in the mix, and then you've got the obvious candidates in the SEC. But yeah, when especially Miami, when the U is relevant, there's something exciting about it. I don't know what they're going to look like this year, but I agree. And Florida State, I mean, write that off, right? So Florida might be the one hope.
Miami will be good. Miami was good last year. As you know, they fell apart at the very end, which cost them a chance at that ACC championship. And they let Clemson sneak in on them, and that's how Clemson wound up making the playoff. So Miami will be right there again. The problem is Miami always seems to shoot themselves in the foot at the wrong time against a not great team, and that's usually where Miami falls off of it. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't have their page up in front of me. Didn't they start 7-0? 7-0, and then it kind of just went away?
I don't know if they did or not. I'd have to look it up.
I mean, they slaughtered Florida week 1. Slaughtered them. I think it was 41-17.
Yeah. I remember specifically watching that game because thinking, man, this quarterback's pretty good.
And because I told you to slam Miami.
Yeah, so all right. You did.
All right, let's preview a couple conferences for the rest of the show. And we'll start with, I mean, all of them are intriguing and they're all bettable, so we're going to give every conference its due. Let's start with the American. And just like last year, it's kind of the same teams that are projected at the top. You got Navy, Tulane, and then Memphis. Down the board a little bit, traditional teams that are usually good that kind of slid here a little bit are South Florida, East Carolina. Anyone here kind of jump out to you?
Nah, I mean, look, I would be lying on this show if I said I knew a lot about the American Conference. So I'm not going to be able to give any real insight here. Tulane always seems to be there, or at least somewhat relevant. I generally don't trust Navy in the long run. So no, what are your thoughts?
Well, we'll kind of go through them here. Army, they had a really good year last year. They were 12-3, 9-6 against the spread, returning 9 starters, 4 on offense, but not the QB. Projected win total 7.5. I'm going to pass on them. I'm not real high on them. Charlotte, not very good last year. They got 7 people coming back. They don't have I don't think they have a very hard schedule coming up. They're 150 to 1 to win the conference for a reason. They're not very good. Their projection is 2.5 wins, Jimmy. So Just like, we're gonna pass. We're gonna pass here. I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna play the over for sure. East Carolina's a little disappointing now. They're only returning 6 starters. They were 8-5 last year, 8-5 against the spread. They are returning their QB. That's always a big thing in college football. But their strength of schedule, it's not terrible. It's 97th, which isn't, there's 136 teams, so it's not bad. They're 18-1 to win the conference. They're looking at like a 500 record, maybe 6.5. I just don't have enough confidence in them, mostly because we're only getting 6 people back, and we got a first-year head coach. Let me go to the Owls. They're not a good team. They got 6 people coming back. They were not good last year. The reason none of these teams, by the way, when you look at their schedule, are rated high is because they play each other and they all suck.
Right. They're just
just keep that in mind. So when I say they have the 130 toughest schedule out of 136, is because they play a bunch of terrible teams like themselves. So I'm going to pass on them. Team that's very, very intriguing to me, because I think Ryan Silverfield is a freaking great coach, is Memphis. They were 11-2 last year, 7-5-1 against the spread. He always has this team ready to play. Their schedule's not terrible. The big out-of-conference game is Arkansas at home. Other than that, it's winnable games. They're 5.5-1 to win the conference, plus 800 to make the playoff. I don't know if that's good. Their win total is 8.5. I actually don't hate, Jimmy, the over here. And if you like Memphis to win the conference, I wouldn't fault you at plus 550. I think they're a contender.
Yeah, what were they? 11-2 last year, right?
11-2 last year. They were right there.
Yeah. No, I think that's not a bad play. They're 4th down the board, right behind Tulane, Navy, and
UTSA.
Yeah, the storied UTSA.
They're good. I know you don't watch a lot of the American, but they can put up some freaking points.
I mean, this year maybe I'll follow the storied Charlotte 49ers, who are projected.
You'll be following a lot more because we'll be opening a Whoyagot bet account in a couple of weeks, and Jimmy will be watching it because he'll be like, "We're betting who?" And I'll be like, "Just make a play."
Yeah. It's fine. FAU is going to do it this week. They come through.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a line that comes out of my mouth a lot to Jimmy. He'll go, "We're doing what?" Oh, just make the play, Jimmy.
Yeah, just make the play. A lot of action on this play out there. Let's finding you deep winners.
Any sharps that are listening are laughing, going, "Jimmy, you make your money in these small conferences, bro. It's the big conferences that are hard."
No, yeah, I've heard that. I have one friend other than Greg that's really like hardcore, and he plays the most random bets and things I've never heard of.
You call him at 8:00. He's like, "I'm getting a quick nap in because I got to watch Long Beach State play Cal State Fullerton at midnight." Jimmy, what's wrong with you? I got the total. I'm riding the over.
Yeah, good feeling about that guy that plays for him.
The midshipmen could be a problem here again, like last year. They were 11-3. Coach is going into his 3rd year, Newberry. They got 13 people coming back, but 8 on offense, including the QB. Win total here, just like Memphis, is 8.5. Plus 380 to win the conference. This one's going to be interesting. I'm fading Navy this year because I don't think when you look at the schedules and you try to balance them, I think they actually have a harder schedule than most, even though on paper they say they have the easier schedule. But they're going to go at Tulsa. That should be a win. They'll be a huge favorite there. VMI and UAB are the other first. Those are their first 3 games. Should start the year 5-0, 6-0 maybe. A Florida Atlantic won't be a problem. Where I think they're in trouble, Jimmy, is the last 4 games of the year. They could easily get out to a rip-off 8 to start the year, but they're going to get crushed at Notre Dame probably. South Florida could give them a run for their money, but then they have to go at Memphis, and then they play the Army-Navy game, and Army's not going to be bad. I think it's those last 4 games all in a row, and at North Texas could be a sneaky game that they could get clipped on, looking ahead to Notre Dame. So I don't love the schedule. That's why I'm going to pass on them.
Yeah, I mean, the way it lines up, I think you're right on the money. The old directional Texas, if that one gets them, then call it a day on their total, because the final 4 are going to be much more difficult.
Yeah, and that's the next team, the Mean Green here in North Texas. 6-7 last year. They're returning a bunch of starters, mostly on defense, though, not their QB. They were 6-7 last year. they're always a funny team to watch because every once in a while they just come out of nowhere and win a game that they shouldn't, and everyone's like, "Wait, you lost to who?" And it's the Mean Green. The schedule is a little rough. They get Washington State at home. It's going to be close to a pick'em game. It's going to be one of those tricky games where everyone's like, "Oh, Washington State's an underdog," and North Texas will probably win. They're an interesting team to watch here. Again, I'm not going to bet them at 12-1. I'm certainly not going to bet them to make the playoff at 50-1. So it's probably a pass for me. The Rice Owls, I'm not even going to talk about. Their win total. My favorite thing about the Rice Owls was their win total 1 year was 1.5. This year they're getting a little bit more respect at a 3.5 total. Play the under. South Florida. Look, this team, it's probably 15, 16 years ago. This was a top 5 team at one point. The South Florida program's not terrible. You lived in Florida. The Bulls, sometimes they put it together. They were 7-6 last year, same record against the spread. They're bringing back 16 starters, 8 offense, 8 defense, and the QB. Again, the problem with this is the thing where they get screwed. Now, not in the conference, because everybody plays a conference, the same schedule, right? You play the same amount of conference games to win your conference. But where they get screwed a little bit is South Florida is actually an attractive team to play, and they take on anybody. This team goes Boise State, Florida, Miami to start their year, and then they go into conference play. You know what? Hats off to them, because those 3 games should get them ready for conference play. I don't hate them. If you want to take a flyer on them, plus 750 to win this conference, maybe they surprise some people.
Yeah, those are. I mean, and they could be 0-3 to start the season. 2 of the games are on the road, but I mean, if they come out of that 1-2, and then the schedule gets a hell of a lot easier after that, right? If they come out of that 1-2 and they get by Memphis, I think that there's a very good chance that they could pull it off.
Yeah. Yeah, again, wouldn't fault you if you want to take a shot. We're not going to spend even 1 second on the Temple Owls. Good night, Temple. Stick to basketball, and you're not even good at that anymore. All right, Tulane Green Wave. This team's been great for a little while. I kind of like them. I always do. Ever since they beat USC in that bowl game, I kind of have a little love for the Green Wave. They are one of the favorites here to win the conference. I have them as the favorite at DraftKings right now, plus 300. And that's the great thing about this conference and a lot of conferences now, Jimmy. The odds are great because a lot of these conferences are so big, they're wide open now. You can't really put too many odds-on favorites anymore like we used to see. Their projections over 8.5 wins. Schedule's pretty good in their favor, I would say. They get Northwestern at home. They're going to be a favorite. They get Duke. That's another out-of-conference game, but they get them at home. Then they're going to get – sorry, Green Wave. They're going to get a red wave of Old Miss. When they go there, they're going to get absolutely destroyed. But that's really the only tough game. Every other game on here, Jimmy, is winnable. They avoid Navy. They don't play each other unless they see each other in the championship. They go to Memphis, and to me, that's the game on November 7th. They go to Memphis. That's probably going to be for one of those top 2 spots to get in the conference championship game. That's what I'm thinking there. You riding the Green Wave?
Yeah, I mean, I said at the top of the show, like they always seem like they're relevant. Who was the running back that came out of Tulane that was
Oh God, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Yeah,
me neither. He was the reason they beat USC in the bowl game.
Yeah, like so
Spears.
So they always
on the Titans.
Yeah, they always have something working down there, and they're favorite to win the conference for a reason. It's plus 300. It's not it's they're not the crazy favorite, but I think to your point, when you look down the schedule, Ole Miss is the only game you circle that you're like, okay, like everything else is going to be competitive, and if they get through the season with 2 losses, I don't see why that couldn't be the truth.
Tulsa Golden Hurricanes, Trey Lamb's first season. A Godspeed, my friend. We're going to move right on. My boys, Jimmy, the Roadrunners. They were 7-6 last year. They were great against the spread. I played them a lot last year. Their projection 7.5 wins. They're plus 450 to win the conference. I do like this team. They are not doing themselves any favors on August 30th at Texas A&M. Good luck, my friends. But then they get a couple of cupcakes. They're going to be an intriguing one. I think when they get to Tulane on the 30th, that's going to be a big game. Again, they don't play Navy. At South Florida will be a tough one, but they have a really good shot here, Jimmy, to win this conference and at least make the conference championship.
All right, let's go San Antonio.
All right, Blazers once again, UAB, and Trent Dilfer there trying to do Trent Dilfer things. Good luck. So my pick for this conference for the American is I'm gonna take a shot here, Jimmy. I love Tulane. I like the Roadrunners. I really do think both those teams have legit shots. But for the value, I'm riding the Tigers, my boys from Memphis, plus 550. Lock it down for me.
All right,
How
you're
about
going.
yourself? I'm going Memphis here.
Yeah, again, not extremely familiar with these teams. I'm gonna throw a dart, and I'm gonna stick with Tulane. Except based on the schedule, like I said, we just looked at, pretty easy path there. Like you just made some great points about who they have coming back. So I'm gonna ride with Tulane plus 300.
All right. So you got those two picks from us in the American. Let's move on to the ACC, where one of our, well, I guess it's a power conference kind of, fading fast, but we'll call it one. All right, we start here with a team that was a little surprising last year and was a great bet against the spread in a lot of games. Bill O'Brien back, second season. They were 7-6 last year, 8-5 against the spread. 35th toughest schedule, but again, it's hard to weight these schedules because they're in the ACC, so that's why you're going to see some higher numbers here. 5.5 is their win total. Their schedule is a little rough. They go to Michigan State. They go to Stanford. They'll probably be a favorite in the Stanford game, but still they're going to Stanford. They get Cal at home, go to Pittsburgh, Clemson at home, but they'll be a big dog there. They have to go to Louisville. They get Notre Dame, SMU, and Georgia Tech at home. They get a lot of the good teams at home. They're returning 11 starters, but not the QB. I don't like their chances this year, Jimmy, at the 5.5. I think it's 5.5 for a reason.
I want to take the over on that and trust in Bill O'Brien. But I mean, Michigan State's a tough game, like you said. I mean, it looks like they'll probably be favored at Stanford, Cal, Pittsburgh. They're a dog to Pittsburgh. Like, is Pitt going to be a powerhouse this year? I don't know.
It's just always good.
Yeah, they're always relevant. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, you drop down. I mean, Notre Dame, SMU, Michigan State. I'm going to say the over. I'm going to bet on Bill O'Brien to get a couple of these done. It seems like they won 7 games last year. Why can't they win 6 this year? Another year under his belt. They're building the program,
but no chance to win the conference, right?
No chance to win the conference.
Oh boy, let me give my condolences to anyone who was betting the Cal Bears last year because they were terrible last year against the spread. They were 3-8 against the spread. Whew. I'm sorry. They were 6-7 against the spread. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. But they're returning 14 starters. Not much on offense, including the QBs not coming back. Win total is 5.5. They're 151. I'm sorry. I think that's supposed to be 15-1. I think that's a misprint here. Bet it now before they catch it to win the conference. I don't like them at all, Jimmy. I got to be honest with you. I don't think they have a shot in hell to make the playoff. I don't think they're going to win this conference. I don't like their schedule at all. I think they're in for a very, very rough year.
So here's the good news. That's not a misprint.
It's 150-1, huh?
It is. Yep. So no, they're not.
They're definitely not going to win the conference. Oh, you're absolutely right. It's 150-1. I was missing a zero on the way my screen was at DraftKings versus the VSiN thing, so I thought it was 50. Yeah, you're right. It's 150-1. Yeah, that's probably for a reason. Yeah. So we're gonna move on there. Let's not bet Cal. You know what we do here on Whoyagot? I won't even edit that out. You guys can all laugh that I thought they might be 15-1. So that's what we do here. We give you some nice bloopers. All right. Is Dabo back here? Is Dabo back, Sweeney? Is this guy going to win again? He's in his 18th season, 10-4 last year. They were not great against the spread. 17 coming back, including the QB. They're projected to win this conference. The schedule. Look, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to hate myself, but I'll just tell you right now, you're going to hear this now. You're going to hear it again. You're going to hear it on the Pick 6 edition, week 1. I'm going to bet LSU and freaking Brian Kelly again, because if I don't bet them, I'm going to hate myself when they finally do win in week 1. But this is how they go. They get LSU week 1. Then they get Troy. They go to G-Tech. They get the Cuse at home. North Carolina, BC. Then they get SMU, Duke, and Florida State at home. They go to at Louisville, Furman, at South Carolina. I don't agree with that number. I think South Carolina is going to be good. The projected spread is Clemson given about 3. Don't be shocked if that's a pick 'em or South Carolina is actually favored in that game. I think South Carolina is going to be pretty good this year. Do you buy into the Clemson hype? Should they be plus 105? They've flexed between minus as much as 120, and currently right now they're plus 105 because there's been some money coming in on Miami and SMU and Louisville.
Yeah, look, I don't know if I buy into the hype completely. I just don't, their schedule is not exactly one that you would call daunting, to your point, right? They're returning a lot of players. Dabo Swinney's championship-winning coach. So, yeah, I think I don't see – it's probably the smartest play. I mean, I'm not trying to chalk this one up, but there's no – the South Carolina game with Lenora Sellers, a lot of people are talking about him for the Heisman. Yeah, that might be really the one to watch. But if they get by LSU game 1, then, I mean, what else there really scares you?
We got to see what Louisville is, right? We'll see. At Louisville could be a tricky spot. Clemson will definitely be favored going into there on the 14th of November, but that could be a tricky one. It's also going to be interesting to see what the Hoodie does at North Carolina. They get them at North Carolina on the 4th of October. That'll be an interesting one. They'll be a 2-touchdown favorite probably, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the real reason to attention here is the North Carolina.
But to Jimmy's point, over 9.5. I mean, it looks attractive with this schedule. Plus 105, though, that is the one where I'm like, ooh, and I certainly wouldn't lay minus 200 for them to make the playoff.
No, I would not do that.
The Dukies, they were good last year, kind of faded a little bit down the stretch. They were 9-4, 8-4-1 against the spread. Not returning many, only 5 on offense, 7 on defense. Not returning the quarterback. Schedule isn't horrible. Their win total 6.5. They're 25-1 shot to win this conference. I don't like them here. I don't like them. They go to Tulane. That's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
They go to Syracuse. They go to Cal. They go to Clemson. They go to North Carolina. Even Illinois, they get at home, but they'll be a dog to Illinois probably. This schedule is not great for them. I don't like them at all. I'm going to fade them.
I'm going to fade them as well. Again, I'm on the 22nd of November. Circle Duke, North Carolina. Though it's not a football rivalry with the Hoodie there, it will be interesting.
It will be. All right, here we are. We've arrived at them. Florida State. Mike Norvell, 6th year. They got screwed 2 years ago. Probably should have been in the playoff and played for a national championship when it was only 4 teams. The quarterback got hurt, and we know the story there. Last year, after coming off that big year, they go 2-10. 2-10. They're returning 15 players, not returning the quarterback. Probably a good thing coming off 2-10, right? Win total 6.5. 28-1 to win the conference. They are 14-1 to make the playoff. They're starting their schedule with a tough one, Alabama. Then they get a couple cupcakes. And they go to Virginia, but then they get Miami, Pittsburgh, Wake Forest. Well, Wake Forest might not be that great this year, so that one might not be too bad. But then they got to go to Clemson, to NC State, and to Florida. Yeah, I don't know how we get to 7 wins on this schedule, Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, so they're returning a lot of players, as you said, but those players also lost a lot of games last year, so hopefully they made big improvements. They got the kid from that was supposed to be the heir apparent to what's his name in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence, right? That he's transferred around, went to Oregon State, but he played okay. I mean, he's at least a legit quarterback. So if they have any hope, it's that they have some stability at the quarterback position this year. But yeah, I mean, 2-10 for Florida State. When we were talking earlier about football is better, college football is better when Florida State, and Miami are good. A little ways off. So
yeah, and he's out. If they don't win, if they don't find a way to make a bowl this year, he's good night.
No, he is for sure. But I mean, look, I'm going to take the over 6.5.
Look at you.
I'm going to do it.
Well, I'm going to go under. I think they're going to suck again.
You're probably right.
Georgia Tech, though, projected 5th in this conference. That's their power ranking. They're returning 14 starters, 7-7. They get the QB back. Projected win total 7.5. They're 12-1 to win the conference. What do you think of this team? This team's kind of intriguing. 7-6 last year. They were even against the spread. They always get that fun game, last game of the year, where they play Georgia. So they'll be a big dog there. But what do you think? They open the season against primetime at Colorado. You like this team, or you think that it's going to be a stretch for them to get there too?
Well, I mean, they've put a couple winning seasons together, right? So you could say there's, I don't know if they're building something at 7 wins. I can't remember how many they lost the year or won the year before, but I know they've had a couple winning seasons. So to think that 7.5, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to step up and pull another one out. I'd probably go under. I mean, the number's probably right on, right?
It's going to be interesting. I mean, they're going to be a favorite in that Colorado game. If they win that, they're going to obviously win the next one, and then it's going to set up a big game with Clemson at home. That is going to be an interesting game. They should beat Temple, no problem. They should beat Wake Forest, no problem. Virginia Tech, but they get them at home. They should beat them. They'll be a favorite there. They're going to go to Duke. We don't know how good Duke's going to be, right? They get Syracuse at home. At NC State could be tricky. At BC could be tricky. They get Pitt, but they get them at home. And then Georgia, it's going to be a lot asking them to beat Georgia that last game of the year, especially if it's a big game for Georgia. I don't know if they're going to be playing in the ACC championship game. I'll say that. 7.5, I think it's a great number. Could they get 8 wins? I mean, if we give them Colorado, we're giving them Gardner. That's 2. Temple's 3. Wake is 4. Virginia Tech should be 5. Syracuse should be 6. And then it gets interesting. They're going to have to win 2 of those games that are going to be coin flips, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a great number. It's a really good number. I am not going to say that this team has a chance to win the conference. So good luck with the win total. I'm going to pass. And I'm going to move on to the Cards, who are power ranked 4th out of 17 in this division. They're returning 15 starters, not the QB. They were 9-4 last year, 7-6 against the spread. Win total this year is 8.5. When you look at this schedule, they get Eastern Kentucky to start the year. Bowling Green is their 3rd game. I'll get back to their 2nd game in a second. They go to Pitt. That should be a decent game. Then Virginia at home, they're going to be a big favorite. They go to Miami. They're going to be a dog there, obviously. There's a lot of winnable games on this schedule. They get Clemson at home, and then their rivalry game, they play Kentucky. They'll be a favorite there. SMU's not going to be as good as they were last year, so they'll probably be favored in that game. Here's the one I want you to circle, Jimmy. September 5th at home against James Madison. James Madison can win that game. That could be the game that really where Louisville goes, oh, no, now we're in trouble.
Yeah.
James Madison is going to be good. They have a great chance to win their conference. We'll preview them later in another episode. But that's a game that makes me very wary of betting the over 8.5 because I think James Madison could upset them.
It could happen. They've got the kid that used to play at USC. Guy's got
Moss.
Yeah, Moss. I mean, so they've got a legit quarterback now. I know he's not known to be the most mobile guy, but to your point, Louisville's kind of always there. I do believe in Braum, the coach, so I don't mind it as a down the board pick to win the conference.
All right, here they are, the Canes, Miami, 10-3 last year. the good old crystal ball is there for his fourth season. They were 6-7 against the spread because that's what crystal ball teams do. They don't cover because they make a silly mistake somehow and find a way to not cover, but they still won 10 games. Projected win total, 9.5. They're the second betting choice in the conference, plus 380. Schedule it's interesting. Let's just say that. It's interesting. I could see an argument for both sides. If you think Notre Dame is going to be good as they were last year, well, then you know what? That's how they start their season. They might start 0-1. I, on the other hand, think Miami's a good bet week 1. Then they're going to win the next couple games. Then they're going to get Florida at home. That is going to be a great game, and Florida's going to be looking for a little bit of revenge after last year. They go to Florida State. They get Louisville at home. That's a big one. They don't play Clemson. That's a big help here. Maybe they meet up in the championship game. They go to SMU. That'll be a good game, but a very winnable game. I like. What do you think? I like the way the schedule breaks for them this year.
Yeah, I mean, they've got obviously a few big games, and they're sort of spread out. I opening with Notre Dame. If they get by Notre Dame, then I think they've got a real shot. I totally blanked earlier when we were talking about it. I forgot Beck is playing for the Canes now, which I think is look, you lose Cam Ward to the draft, but you're bringing another guy in that obviously
won a championship.
Yeah, right. So yeah, maybe that is the move. I mean, maybe they really step up and get it done. Like I said, yeah. After you've got Notre Dame, then you've got 2 cupcakes, or at least 1 cupcake, and then South Florida. Then you've got Florida, and then it sort of lightens up. Let's assume that I was wrong about Louisville, though. Again, I think Louisville is going to be okay. I don't know, man. I think Miami does. Maybe I just talked myself into Miami wins the conference.
More on that in a minute when we get through the rest of the teams. But yeah, I like the over 9.5 here. I'm a believer in the Canes. I've always liked the U, Jimmy. I've always been a big U guy. So I'm always rooting for them, and I think this is a year they got a good chance. North Carolina State, they're bringing back a lot of people. They're middle of the pack to me at best. Their schedule's not horrific when you look at the teams they're playing. I don't think they have a prayer when they go to Notre Dame, but schedule's not awful. At Miami is going to be a problem, obviously. I don't buy into this team. 6-7 last year. They're returning a bunch of people, but they weren't great last year. I really got no hope for them. You agree there?
Yeah, I've got no comment on NC State.
Here's the intriguing team of the year. They're not very good. He's inheriting not a great team, and certainly not a good team against the spread last year, and that was the North Carolina Tar Heels. They were 2-10 against the spread last year. Returning 11 people, 6 on offense, 5 on defense, but again, probably a good thing coming off not a great team last year. Projected win total is 7.5, probably inflated a little bit because the hoodie's there. 3-1 to win the conference. A few things to unpack here. Schedule, it's not terrible. It's not the toughest thing I've ever seen. They get Clemson at home, like we talked about earlier. TCU to start the year. At Central Florida could be tough, I guess. It's not a terrible schedule, Jimmy. I don't hate the over here. If the hoodie stays all year, if the hoodie makes it, I don't hate it.
I don't love it. I think next year he gets it done, but I just don't know. You got some of the write-ups on him. Belichick prioritized the offensive line, tells me he probably wants to pound the ball. Great defensive coach, as we know. I mean, look, could you convince me that a couple of the games that there'll be slight dogs, that Belichick is enough of a great coach to get him over the top? Absolutely, right? Because it's not even close. I mean, you could talk about Dabo or the Cristobal. There's a couple other coaches who have a name here, but it's not even. It's Belichick and then everybody else, even with them in there. So yeah, could he scrape a couple of those by? Sure, but the 7.5 just feels inflated to me. To your point, probably because of the Belichick effect. So I'm gonna say under this year.
All right, and then we'll zoom through these.
I hope I'm wrong, by the way. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he gets.
Yeah, it's gonna be. They're an intriguing team. It's gonna be interesting to see. I think Pitt is just literally a carbon copy of last year. They're returning a bunch of people, but they were 7-6 last year. They're going to be 7-6 probably again this year, maybe 8-5. That's kind of my prediction here. Wouldn't shock me if they only won 6. really not much to unpack with Pitt, right? SMU's intriguing. They were great last year. They made the playoff. They were 11-3, 8-6 against the spread. They're bringing back 12 people, including the quarterback. Win total 8.5. They are. This is one of the first long shots, plus 850 to win the conference that I would give a look to. The schedule is not a bear. They're going to be favored in most games. The big ones are at Clemson and Miami at home. I think they will probably, you know what, they'll probably be favored against Louisville at home, I would think, unless Louisville runs off a bunch of wins and SMU loses a game or two they're not supposed to. I don't hate it. I mean, the schedule's good in their favor, I think. 8.5, I think, is the right number. I don't know if I'm ready to try to take another chance on this team this year and play the plus 850. How about you?
Wouldn't go plus 850. I think over 8.5 is probably a good prediction.
Okay.
Yeah, when you look at the schedule, the breakdown, they're going to get, I don't know. They have a bunch of cupcake games on there, and there's a chance that they could get one of the games that they're going to be the dogs in. I don't think, based on the talk we just had, that it's going to be the Miami game. Maybe Clemson falls off, and they just weren't what we thought they were going to be. They've got it. They've got a shot. I think the win total is right, but I would go over.
Then we got the Stanford Cardinal and the trees here, Jimmy. And like the weird thing, Andrew Luck is not the coach; he's the general manager of a college team. But hey, people get paid now, so I guess maybe we'll have general managers coming out soon. And he said, "Hey, I'm not going to coach him. You know what I'll do? I'll go get my old coach." It brings Frank Reich in for his first year. My only comment here is, like I said many times in this episode for our bad teams, Godspeed, gentlemen. We wish you well. 3.5 is your win total for a reason. I got nothing really on the Cuse. They're bringing back 8 people. Seems like this could be a very down year for them. They were a very intriguing team last year. They got off to a hot start, faded a little bit on the end. They went 10-3. Fran Brown, that was his first year. This is his second year. I got no feel on the Cuse. We'll kind of have to see how it goes. I wouldn't bet over or under 5.5. It's a pass for me, and I do not think they have a chance to win this conference, obviously.
No. McCord's gone. They're done.
I think Virginia will be middle of the pack. Another one just like Pitt. I feel like kind of a carbon copy. They were 5-7 last year. Win total this year 6.5. It's going to be a 5-7 or between 5-7 and 7-5. So I wouldn't bet it. I see no angle here.
No, I'd probably go under if I had to make a call, but I'm not betting it either.
Virginia Tech, I wish they would be better because it was so good when Beamer was there and they were good and just doing great things on special teams, but they're returning 12. QB's coming back, but again, it's a 6-7 team with the QB coming back, so I don't get too excited for things like that. They're 35-1 to win the conference for a reason. I don't think this is any type of a contender for the conference or the playoff, so 6.5, probably another good total that I'm just going to pass on.
I'd lean over, but yeah, I'll stick with the pass.
Wake Forest is going to be terrible. Dickert there for his first year. Godspeed, my friend. Good luck.
You mean his year? He's there for his year?
Yeah, exactly. Well, he might get 2 years. You know how they do. They give you one.
Yeah.
And that's the ACC, everybody. So we'll end the show with our pick. My pick is the Canes. Plus 380. I like their schedule. I know they got some teams on there, some tough games, especially those Florida rivalry games. But I think they're the best team in Florida, and I think they're going to show it, and I think they're better than Clemson. I think this is the year the crystal ball puts it together and wins the ACC. Give me the plus 380, and saying that, I got no issues with anybody who wants to take a shot plus 850 for the Mustangs to run it back.
I'm with you. I'm going Miami. I don't know why I blanked. I forgot Beck was there. Like you said, he's won a championship. Clemson at plus 105 now doesn't seem that attractive. Go Miami plus 380. I wouldn't blame you if you threw something on SMU or Louisville at 850. I think you can't go any farther. I think at Georgia Tech and Duke and anything down the board, you're just buying a lottery ticket at that point. I don't think they have a chance. I think really 1,200 on Georgia Tech's criminal. That should be farther down the board as far as I can tell. But I think so. Yeah. But I wouldn't go past the 4th team. But I'm going to stick with you in Miami. Let's get the U back in business.
All right. Thank you again, everyone, for listening. Again, if you like the show, hit that follow, subscribe button for us, and please recommend the show to a friend. Follow us on X and Instagram at Whoyagot33. And again, subscribe to our YouTube channel, also at Whoyagot33 on YouTube. And you can also watch some crossover episodes with our friends at KC Sports Authority on their YouTube channel. Again, we had a great fantasy football episode that we posted this week. Please go check that out if you haven't already. And they also post some great, fantastic content if you're a Kansas City fan of any of their local sport teams. And as always, keep sending any comments or questions our way at whoyagot33 at Gmail. We will read them. We will address them. Please. We love when we get them. Jimmy, any final words?
Can't wait for football. Looking forward to talking Big Ten.
Yeah, good luck, everyone. We will continue with our college football show. Be on the lookout next week for our NFL preseason Picks and Six, episode number 2. Let's cash some tickets. Let's get some winners home tonight and tomorrow in the UFC. And remember, it's never under.